What's up, rabble-rousers? Hope everyone's week's going well. I don't know about you, but it's raining over on the west coast of Los Angeles here on a good Monday evening. But for this video, the clouds are parting, and it's nothing but blue skies as the one and only Arilou is going to be playing Chip Nut. Sorry, Space Nut. Every time I see Space Nut, I think Chip from Space, which is one of the old legends of the game. Space Nut, chip on his shoulder, trying to prove himself against arguably one of the modern GOATs. Let's see what he's got for us today. Alright. Arilou, tried and true. Playing the one deck we've seen him go for this tournament. Squirrel, Mole, Falcon, Skunk, Cam, and Wolf. The whole goal, punish any greed, with Squirrel Mole. Integrate a little bit of the tier 2, but slowly climb up to the Wolf. And once that pops, come in with massive, fast, high Falcon DPS. End the game. But Space Nut, I like what he's doing, choosing to go for a Badger, Squirrel, Pigeon, Falcon, Cam, Badger, and Mine. Now, I will tell you, Badger, interesting tier 3, arguably requires the most micro, that along with the Fox, to make it work. You must keep it alive at all times, but the longer it's alive, the more dangerous it is. It can rev, speed up its DPS the longer that it remains in a fight, until it's just a machine gun absolutely tearing down everything in its path. Now, historically, Badger's actually an incredible response to Wolf, but you have to be careful. Arilou, one of his strengths of the deck is that he can gun down stuff with extremely bursted DPS while something is Wolf buffed. So if you're going to be using a Badger against someone as strong as him, who's not going to get behind in army value just over the course of the game, you're going to need to use this Badger defensively. Stay behind a mill. Don't necessarily draw it out and try to take the fight to him. Let him take the fight to you. Defend behind a mill, because when you have a mill, units all around the mill, pigs all around the mill, it's very difficult to focus fire a Badger. It's very difficult to select it as a commander. So, ideally, this is what I'm hoping he can go for. We'll see how it goes. Space Nut, going for two Squirrel Warrens and a Cam. Both players played it safe, went 8 farms, no shenanigans. Now, taking a look at this this map, very close to each other are our opponents. So, interesting how this is going to go. Arilou just got a scroll up there for vision in good measure. Going to go ahead and take a backwards mill. Bring in his units menacingly. He's got one Skunk out. Probably looking to take a fight right now. Space Nut, he doesn't have his Cam out. He's taking an engage. He's lost 2 squirrels, but he's going to go ahead and retreat. It's still fine, but Skunk Gas is pouring down. The tier 1, not in a good position. And now Skunk Gas is going to go down. All of Space Nut's tier 1 is down. That Cam, it got burst fire down. Wasn't able to take down the Skunk. Commander's going to die as well. This is a really bad engage for Space Nut. One farm goes down. A second one close to. Third one clearly going to go down. Some Warrens going down as well. Arilou making a retreat now, but all of his tier 2 survived. He lost some tier 1, but that is negligible in the face of the success that he just had in that fight. And the key to victory right there was he got his Skunk out before Space Nut was able to get out anything other than tier 1. And when it's tier 1 versus Squirrel and Skunk, it is devastating. Specifically Squirrel versus Squirrel Skunk. Though a small victory did manage to get out the mill, but it had no... Ooh. It had nothing on it, and also the Cam got gunned down on the way back. Arilou, too good at predicting that retreat arc. And now he's going to go in for another attack. And these Falcons, they're good, but Space Nut has 3 squirrels versus Arilou's 15. This should not be close. And yeah, Skunk Gas, Squirrels combination, absolutely tearing through Space Nut's army. Space Nut, out of units, out of options. There's the tap. One-0 Arilou. Now, that was just like again as I've been talking about this this whole tournament. Ariloux will go for every little timing he has. So in like the 5 seconds before that cam popped, he went in for an attack, and that was all he needed because the map was so close to each other, the combatants. So this is what SpaceNut has to be careful. He has to be accurate in his timing, putting stuff down as soon as he can, because if there's any little openings because of his execution being delayed, Arilouux will find it, Arilouux will punish it. So this time, the combatants much farther apart. This is good for SpaceNut. Also, a lot of open area, plenty of room for lizards to harass from multiple flanks. Even I would consider this attack another flank because units do have to go around this. So this could be good for SpaceNut. There's a lot of room for some successful poke, and also he can flank all the way right from the bottom if he wants to harass this mill or this mill. This mill, not the necessarily easiest to defend. So, not the hardest, but not the easiest. Sorry to jar your eyes there. But yeah, both players, once again, standard 8-farm opener into 2 squirrels. Arilouux, only some squirrels down right now. I suspect we're going to see, as soon as 120 food drops, we're going to see... Oh, I was going to get skunk, but he went ahead and goes for cams. Now, we can likely anticipate some cams moving across the map for a sneaky farm snipe or snipe of other type. But SpaceNut, he learned his lesson from last time. He's going all tier 1, wasting no time. Squirrel Lizard, amazing synergy, and for a map like this, I think very good as well. But I would like to see him go for some eco, and oh, he has to be careful not to lose that squirrel, but it barely survives. Gotta watch out for those cabins. If you get in range of them, they will bite back. You are rewarded by a campfire if you can take one down. And he's going to go ahead and do some lizard harass. Does have to be careful not to take any damage. He is going to take a little bit. Just a little tap, a little love bite from the cabin. And this is when you have to recognize that there is not a poking attack available. And if he goes in for this, he's going to be on the wrong side of Ariloux's army. 2 cams ready to absolutely tear through either side of this dual flanked attack. Units, terrible retreat. It looks like he might have tapped instead of holding his rally when he tried to retreat. And those squirrels engaging Ariloux's army when they were coming into range, and he went ahead and lost 6 squirrels for nothing. And this is the kind of danger that Arilouux can put you in. He was gonna try and punish something even like this. SpaceNut's lizards away from home. These 2 squirrels, they're going to go down as well. We'll see if he loses anything else. He might even lose 2 warrens here. 1. Second one survives, but this already a critical engage. And oh, the lizards came in too soon. Squirrels, not in time to reinforce. Lizards go down. Squirrels cannot fend against 12 squirrels and 2 cams with moles on the way. All of his warrens are going down. Only 3 left in the back. Cam still alive, 1 on 3 health. It goes down. But SpaceNut simply cannot reinforce as fast as Arilouux can bring his units back to the fray. These pigs, underbelly's exposed. Arilouux, beautiful micro, keeping his cam alive. Skunk gas, already down, tearing through anything that dares walk into its path. SpaceNut, out of units, out of options. But fends it back. Only to have his units kited back into Ariloux's army. Arilouux, wasting no time. And that's the game. There's a reason this man is among the top seeds of this tournament. And it became put on full display. No game of his going beyond 5 minutes, I believe. Great matchup from Arilouux. He's going to go ahead and take our first set of the night. 2-zip. Now next up, our next steps of combatants. We have me go ahead and check his full username. I believe it's Droopy Mantis, yes. Droopy Mantis, even if the replay folder says otherwise. That is our combatant's name. Versus none other than Winterload. Droopy Mantis, a beginner, I believe, but Winterload, having a little bit of experience behind his back. See him occasionally in unranked lobbies this season. Interesting to see what they're going to bring to the table. So without further ado, let's get into it. Oh, also, worth noting what groups these players all hail from. And so, just to give you folks some answers. Group A is where Winterload and Droopy Mantis hail from. Group B was what we just saw, Arilou versus Spacenut. In the last match of the night, we will have Epicosity and Milks and Cookies in Group D. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into it. Winterload, Droopy Mantis. Winterload in green. Droopy Mantis. Sporting the common folk. Oh. Yeah, it's like Christmas colors raining down over here. Alright. Both players, no aggression. Droopy Mantis sporting the squirrel, pigeon, falcon, cam, badger, owl. Interesting. Not necessarily a holistic deck, but it does have units that can target, you know, the air, the ground, pigeons to back up the badger. Certainly viable. Winterload sporting squirrels only as his only tier 1. Oh! And he actually went for a 5 farm. Double squirrel attack. And with this pig cut out, it's absolutely going to go down. This is a big win for Winterload. Sneaky, sneaky. I got caught looking at the unit selections. Winterload. In fact, let's see that again from the top. I do want to see exactly the order in which this occurred. So Winterload, let's take a look at exactly how this came to happen. So, waited for Droopy Mantis to scout his base, make Droopy Mantis think that he was going to go for nothing but farms, and as soon as he went and broed home, sold into 5 farms, double tier 1 scrolls. This map being so close absolutely allows this attack to go, and making it even more viable is the fact that Droopy Mantis only has one pig out on his most exposed side of the mill, meaning these other scrolls not going to be in, or these other pigs not in range to contest these scrolls, and that's how he managed to get that kill. Tricky, tricky, tricky from Winterload. Chicka, 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 ah. But yes, Winterload satisfied with the 1 farm, gonna take his win and go home. Droopy Mantis only has 4 squirrels because he did prioritize paying for that pig. I think Winterload can go in for another pig. I think he will. Being very cautious, checking out for any mines. No, he's gonna go home, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's up. He's ahead. 6 farms to Droopy Mantis's 5. Droopy finally getting down his 6, but you know, Mantis responding in kind with 7. And an extra warren, squirrel warren to boot. This could be a very quickly decided match. Droopy Mantis versus Winterload. This is why the opening, such a pivotal point in this game. There is very little room for error in the end game and the opening of Tooth and Tail. And if you lose even 40 food in the beginning of a match, it can be decisive, let alone a pig. And this high ground, particularly painful for Droopy Mantis to try to deal with. Now, Winterload tricking Droopy Mantis into bringing his units to the other side of the warren, going ahead and attacking, getting 2 more pigs for his troubles. Tricky Winterload with the mind games. And already, Droopy Mantis is on life support in the opening of this match. Not even 3 minutes in, and behind in an almost insurmountable deficit. Bar something crazy. Droopy Mantis likely to succumb to a slow death here. Winterload opting for some skunks. I think that's an excellent choice of tier 2 to move into. Droopy Mantis can't afford any tier 1, any tier 2 at the moment, which means we're gonna have the nightmare matchup we were just talking about in the previous set: squirrel versus squirrel skunk. Now, when army values are fairly equivalent, you do want to wait for 2 skunks, because oftentimes only 1 skunk isn't enough skunk gas to fully cover enough units to be effective. But in this scenario, 1 skunk is more than enough. Only 9 squirrels up for Droopy Mantis. Not necessarily enough to blitz down a skunk. This skunk's going to be able to tank some damage, retreat. Winterload opting for a containment method, but it's not necessary. Oh, Droopy Mantis, his commander went down, but somehow he managed to take down the skunk. A great engage for Droopy Mantis, and he's going to lose all of his squirrel. But honestly, that might have been the best that he could have hoped for. And it's going to be a quick death from Droopy Mantis. Winterload. You know, he said, it might be raining over where you are, Meek, but I'm going to make it hail in my games. And Winterload, true to his name, brought the storm. Let's see what the combatants have for us in game 2 of this set. Man, our players are not disappointing us today. Going for some feisty aggression in the early game, proving that you do have to be accurate in your opening moves. Very little room for error. Winterload, sporting this time Scroll Falcon Skunk Scam. Sorry, Falcon Skunk, Owl, Wolf, and Turret. Droopy Mantis, sticking with what he believes to be the deck that will take him to victory. Scroll, Pigeon, Falcon, Cam, Badger, and Owl. As far as the map goes, Winterload definitely has the better side of this. A fairly easy expand, and more importantly, Droopy Mantis, an impossible mill to defend. That I couldn't defend that on my best day. There's simply too much terrain, water, high ground you have to get through just to defend it. You can't defend behind the mill because you'll be on low ground against adjacent high ground. So Droopy Mantis, absolutely, bar, going for this ninja mill, is 100% going to have to play on 1 base. Like, that's just a fact. So, having double tier 3 isn't really great for 1 base. If you have 1 base, maybe you can squeeze in against a good player 1 tier 3, unless you're going for a tricky, like, triple tier 3 deck. And it looks like he wanted to drop to tier 3 right away, or it could have been a misclick. Regardless, Droopy Mantis changing his mind, going for cams and squirrels. Perfectly reasonable opening. Winterload going straight into 4 falcons. Now against cams, that's a fantastic idea. Cams cannot hit falcons. They are solely ground units that can only target the ground. Falcons, on the other hand, can target ground and air. Winterload, keys to victories if they are to engage in a middle game matchup. Take out all the squirrels and the falcons. Focus fire that before you deal with the cams, because if all you have left is 1 falcon and he has all its cams, you win, because there's no units to take out your falcon. Now Winterload looks like he wants to go for an early engage, but falcons notoriously not having very high health, so you do have to have some meat, some army in front of them. By themselves, they'll get gunned down with not enough time, for them to really make use of their high DPS. Still, as far as posturing go, they are pretty scary. Winterload possibly considering trying to put down some turrets and absolutely cut Droopy Mantis off from the rest of the map. I suspect that's what we're going to see. The fact that he's floating over 130 food. Oh, but floating food no more. And just going for some very forward warrens. They can backfire. You know, there's really no need to put your warrens that far forward. Really, normally this becomes more of a liability than an asset, but it can prove helpful. It's kind of circumstantial. You know, I've experimented a lot in the past when I was first coming up into Tooth and Tail, trying to figure out, is putting warrens in front of your mills good for tanking, or is it more of a liability because if they fall, you're too far behind? Oh my goodness, Winterload, his Falcon's not at home, and DMantisx wasting absolutely no time going for the engage, and this is what I'm talking about. Those warrens proving actually to be a liability than an asset. Getting gunned down while the Falcons were at home. He's going to go ahead and take down this mill too. That Falcon warren's also going to go down. Winterload. An absolutely critical engage for DMantisx, coming at exactly the right time. And now, just as I was talking about, these Falcons not having enough health to survive a direct engagement yet. Early in the game, they're going to get gunned down very quickly. And DMantisx storming the gates on Winterload's door. Winterload dropping down a desperate turret in an attempt to close the doors to his castle. But Winterload, he's bringing in the heavy duty. And now Winterload somehow being the player to cut off the rest of the map from Winterload due to a terrible mistake of bringing his Falcons out at just the wrong time. And now DMantisx, the tide's completely turned. Looking at the army graph, glorious engage from DMantisx. Went home. And it's the Ninja Mill. He is gonna go for it, dropping down 3 farms. I like this. This is a good response, specifically because of the fact that Winterload is investing in defense. So if we look at his army graph, not only is it lower, some of that army graph is defense. So if he sells that off, it'll be even less. So he cannot win a direct engage against DMantisx if he were to push into him, which means DMantisx absolutely free to try to bring, you know, his economy up higher. Very smart, being patient, not going in. A lot of people will panic here and be like, oh, I'm ahead, I have to finish the match. No, stay on your advantage. Let your eco climb. Every single second you have more eco than your opponent, you are widening the gap. Because even if you guys engage and you lose all your army, you will have more economy to reinforce your army for another attack. So, DMantisx, just keep your commander. Don't let that happen. His commander dead, but his units in a reasonable formation. But the cams not able to play a role in this attack. And DMantisx, he is going to lose his units. Cams by himself, not helpful. And Winterload, tides are turning, flip-flopping all over the course of this map. DMantisx knows he has to go back to defend this mill. One of the pigs are going to get gunned down. 2, certainly. But now, it's Winterload that's not at home. And 1, 2, 3 cams all getting gunned down. DMantisx coming back into this match. I can't tell you who's going to win, folks, but this is one of the craziest games we've casted in the tournament so far. Everyone getting caught out at just the wrong times. Winterload, now he's starving. This is all or nothing. He has to win this engagement, but he just doesn't have enough units. Didn't even wait for the Falcon to come to their army. And DMantisx, he's going to win this. Winterload, out of options, out of units. So exciting, I said it backwards. And you need at least 20-something seconds to put down a farm. So he will actually automatically resign if there's not enough time for him to physically build the farm. So any second now, we're going to see a forced resign. Or maybe it does go all the way to the end. Huh. Oh, no, yeah. There wasn't enough time. If there wasn't enough... this was the issue. If there wasn't enough time for that mill to build, it would have required a forced resign. But there was enough time. But, as I say that, DMantisx, sneaky, cuts it off. Winterload, not at home for the mill that he just built. And it goes down. And now... Well, this is kind of insane. Winterload this time, he has the greater army value. DMantisx, he made the mistake. He sold none of his warrens, and so he is starving himself now. Oh my gosh. Both players starving. But Winterload, starving faster. DMantisx, so much food. But he has to be careful. He has to build a mill. If he just tries to kill his only other mill, it went down. If DMantisx just tries to take out Winterload, he might starve first before, like, he has like 8 seconds to win this game. It's not gonna happen. I think he's gonna be forced to resign before he can actually physically kill this mill. Unless I don't understand the rules of forced resign. I'm gonna have to go back and check, because I was almost certain that like the game will automatically force resign you if you don't have enough time to build a mill to survive off a farm. But not the case in this scenario. That mill, it went down. And DMantisx, in the most diabolically drastic game I've had the privilege of casting in a while, ties up this set 1-1. Absolutely incredible. You know, this is what we come here to see. And do I have the colors correct? Oh no, I have to flip-flop them. Well, it's a tad embarrassing. Just a little too excited to be casting today. So sorry, folks, but I'm just happy to be here. Happy for the Tooth and Tail season to be back on. Ah, this is the same game. Okay. Final match. DMantisx versus Winterload. Let's see if we're gonna have any changes in unit selection. Nope. Both of these players very confident in their decks of choice, deciding that this is what we're gonna bring to the table for this matchup. Taking a look at the map, very fair map, very very fair indeed. DMantisx, a beautiful, dare I say, sexy expand directly in front of your mill, and also very far away from your opponent, also covered by a distance by a cabin to dissuade any early pre-8 farm aggression, and some water. So not going to be the easiest to push into if he tries to hold at the terrain, like environmental defense area of the map, the high ground, and supported by water. Winterload, he has, you know, take your pick of expand. You can go front, left, right, or doesn't matter, or center. All of these expands perfectly viable. Personally, I would take the I might take the one on the high ground. Yeah, the center mill, because I don't want my opponent to actually stand on that mill and engage my low mill on the high ground. But all to play for in this final set. Winterload, I think this is the correct approach, going for an early tier 2. You can afford to go into a tier 2 right away because the map is just too far for you to engage in. Now DMantisx is going to go for 2 squirrels into an expand. If you're going to do this, you need to you should be putting down a farm right away, because this is kind of how you justify going for the immediate mill. So now he's going to go down for a tier 2, probably some cams, but nope, falcons. And it's fine, you know, there's no problem. But now you're going to have tier 2 a little bit lower, later than Winterload. And so some scenarios, there's time for a timed push in that interim. But not going to be the case here. There's definitely way too much distance. You would have had to get through that cabin, because units that are getting reinforced during the attack, they're going to run through that path. And you don't want to have reinforcing units already be like at half health, because they're getting gunned down by a cabin. So Winterload, and this is what I'm talking about, like that cabin, it's taking down some of the health of your units. Unnecessary. And he's going to go ahead, try to go for this expand, and he will be able to kill this expand for sure. Actually, no, I take that back. That's not a given. Falcon's up. A second Falcon coming in a second. You're both players floating too much food. You know, like, you have enough food to go down and put down a tier 3 one. You should be trying to spend this more optimally. But these players focused on the engage right here. One squirrel goes down. Second one, returned fire by Winterload. Winterload trying to put down some skunk gas, showing some promise. Oh, a falcon caught out. But the second one, nope, got gunned down too. Droopy Mantis's unit composition was just like, it was a little too squishy. Like, you need a little bit more units. You need bigger engages for your falcons. You don't want them to get caught out, because when it's very low units, they're in a lot of danger. So Droopy Mantis on the back foot. That cam, you know, making some good effect. He's gonna get down. Almost got down to the falcon. Or sorry, the skunk. It did go down, but that falcon lived for like 3 seconds. And Winterload, he's gonna have to go home. Droopy Mantis, he survives, but he is behind. Make no mistake about it. Is his position recoverable? I believe it's suspect, because for one, Winterload, after floating all that food, drops down the wolf. So he just needs to survive until that wolf pops, and he's going to be in a beautiful position. Droopy Mantis has no idea, has absolutely no time to go back and scout. He's going to try to take out this skunk. He's going to get damage on it, but he's not going to fully take it out. His cam also took some damage, not as much as that skunk on 6 health. If he was able to take one out, and he did, and that's actually a big deal. And now, this engage, still not enough squirrels to support your falcons, but that cam, so clutch. The second falcon's gonna live, and now he can go ahead and push. And that skunk, it might die if it has to go into water. Oh, but Droopy Mantis choosing to just take the campfire and go home. His unit surviving. Incredibly clutch cam, coming in just enough time to take enough damage so that skunk falcon could survive. And now a pigeon up, gonna bring it back to full health. But the tail of the tape is this wolf. You know, congratulations, Droopy Mantis. It's good that you were able to win an engage, but you didn't win it by like a wide margin. You won it by a little bit. And you have a threat, and that threat is the oncoming wolf. He doesn't know it, but this is exactly the push he needs. He does need a push now. That wolf on half health. The cam's going in, but they're going in prematurely. He needs to bring in the rest of his units. Bring him in. Bring him in, Droopy Mantis. Go for the engage. He waited too long. The cam's caught out. But a falcon caught out a little bit itself, but it's going to survive. Droopy Mantis, he's going to go home, and that wolf is going to pop. This is bad. This is really, 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 really bad. Really bad. Droopy Mantis, he didn't know about the wolves, so it's tough for him to know that he had to push all his units all in. He was trying to poke, and, you know, if there was no wolf, there's nothing really wrong with that approach. But the fact that there was, and he didn't scout it, just, you know, sometimes you say that ignorance is bliss, but in this case, ignorance was his undoing. And Winterload, he could attack. In fact, he should. If we look at army value, he's ahead. Sorry, and Winterload, it looks like he's getting the idea. His pieces are wolf buffed. Droopy Mantis, yeah, his units, the skunks actually doing a lot of damage. And that, oh my goodness, it went down. It really went down, but there was a cost, and that cost was all of Droopy Mantis's units. And Droopy Mantis having to sell everything down. He doesn't have time. He's starving. Winterload absolutely putting on the pressure, killing this tier 1 before it pops. Droopy Mantis out of units, out of options. Desperately staying in, doesn't want to give up, but there's nothing left for him. One cam and a dream, and you might even take down this skunk. But there are 2 falcons staring down the barrel of your mill. Squirrels, born to die. That's the game. Incredible. Just fantastic match here for us today. That was beautiful. Winterload, props to you. Taking down an eclectic set. But it's not over, folks. We have one more matchup today. Talk about a treat. Milk and Spookies. First is Epicosity. Epicosity, the veteran here. Actually, I think played the game even when I came on the scene 5 years ago. Let's see what these combatants have in store for us today in the group stage. This is actually the first game either of these players have played in the 2025 Tooth and Tail tournament. Milk and Spookies, sporting the civilized in yellow. Epicosity, tried and true long coats. Let's see what these players have for us today. And ooh, Barbed Wire making its first appearance in the Tooth and Tail World Championship 2025 Season 1. Squirrel, Lizard, Cam, Snake, Wolf, Barbed Wire. Very interesting. I haven't seen a deck like this in a while. In a while. Very curious to see how this plays out. Milk and Spookies, Squirrel, Lizard, Mole, Falcon, Skunk, Boar. I like that. That's a sexy deck. Triple tier 1, a lot of possibilities and a map. You know, keeping those possibilities alive. Very many avenues of attack. Very curious to see how this is going to go down. I almost wish that the map was reversed, but nonetheless, Milk and Spookies, he has, you know, he can choose from a plethora of different mills to expand from. Epicosity, he has a very safe mill, you know, to turn to. He's going to open for 2 Lizard, and we might see, you know, some good high-level Lizard harass in this game. Epicosity, a seasoned player, absolutely knows how to micro his Lizards, so curious to see what he brings to the table, going straight into 9 Lizards. Milk and Spookies going for a Squizzard deck. All to play for. Neither player really showing any error in the beginning of this game. Epicosity looks like he wants to go ahead and take down this cabin. Let's see how a cabin responds to four Lizards. Yeah, 4 Lizards. Definitely getting the job done here. Epicosity gonna go for an expand, as is Milk and Spookies. Milk and Spookies a little bit faster, but negligibly. Oh, and an engage happening on the high ground, but the Lizards just a little bit too much DPS in this match. Gonna win, take down an extra 3 squirrels for their troubles. Yeah, so absolutely equal army value during the engagement, but Lizards just got the better end of it. And oh, this is bad. These Lizards, how much are they gonna snipe? 1, 2, oh, 3. Oh, that is devastating. Milk and Spookies, you had to sell those farms. And that's an instant KO. Milk and Spookies really needs to find the sell button on his keyboard. In a moment like that, the danger's coming. You have to watch out. And oh my gosh, Spookies, he's not at home. And the Lizard's absolutely wreaking havoc on the mill. He's gonna go straight for the blood. Heart, 20 health, 3. He's out. Milk and Spookies. Taken to the back of the shed. Didn't come out. That was brutal. Ouch. All right. Milk and Spookies, no doubt, needs to shake that off. You know, players, even myself, I have absolutely embarrassing games, even after all these years of play. So, Milk and Spookies just needs to shake off game 1, rally for game 2, and show what he has. He or she. Identity unknown, but here to show what they bring to the table. Both players just scouting around, taking a look at this map. If you look at the units, Epicosity even switching it up, you know, we didn't really get to see the extent of his deck last game. But this time, going for Squizzard Cam, Fox, Barbed Wire, and Mine. And I really like the decks that Epicosity are going for. They're very off meta. You know, you don't have some of the traditional high DPS late game, like, you know, Falcon and Wolf buffed units, but you do have it in other forms. You know, you could spam Lizard, and then you just have some fun, interesting plays that can come from the, you know, the combinations of Mines and Wire and Foxes, and also Cams, which can sneak around and perform some sneaky things. So interesting to see if we'll get a chance to see the full extent of this deck. Even I am a little suspicious if Wire and Mine are really the best utility in conjunction. I've tried it myself, but you know, your opponent might just have a little bit more options available to them to navigate the course of the game. But certainly bringing in a different flavor, and we'll see. Epicosity, still time to prove that that here his deck is here, and it's here for a reason. So, and yes, this might be the idea behind the Barbed Wire and the Mine, using it in an attempt to survive until a very early Fox gets out, and the Fox hidden top right of the map. But MSpookies gonna scout it. Now, if I'm MSpookies, I am selling these Falcons. Falcons, terrible against Foxes because they get one shot. One shot. So yes, they could hypothetically gun down a Fox, but you're gonna have way better luck trying to hunt down a Fox with a swarm of lizards than you are Falcons. So MSpookies, maybe not familiar, or maybe he is familiar. He or she. MSpookies was floating a little bit of food. Oh, and this is interesting. Choosing to go for a timed attack, likely as soon as that fourth. Oh, sold the moles. So what's the plan here? Because you had the moles, you were gonna go for a timed attack. It looks like you still might. You floating 300 food. Like, that is too much food to float. And he's gonna go for an attack. And the attack, it's interesting. Oh, the Fox cut out. Can he snipe it? I think he might be able to. Oh, it does go down. That's actually a really big deal. And he managed to take down 5 farms and the wolf. And the Fox, at the cost of his whole army. Epicosity, it's now or never. He's gonna try to hunt down. Oh, MSpookies. He didn't want to finish the engage. No. He needed to have gone home. There is not nearly enough army to fight an attack, and he thought that he could try to take down the mill, but there's even a second one, so even if that went down, that wouldn't matter. And now, this is problematic. Epicosity, an infinitely bigger army, and that Falcon's gonna go down. There's not enough army at home to survive this attack for Epicosity. Now, Epicosity, his lizards, did come in too soon. That Cam, you know, got caught out too far out into the mill. It did get gunned down, and now there's actually a lot of room for MSpookies to defend this. Epicosity, he rushed, was too hasty into his attack. He had enough army to win that engage and end the game right there, but a little bit careless in his micro. Lizards came in too soon, got gunned down. Cams carelessly fell too deep into the mill, gunned down as well. And MSpookies reaping the benefits of that economic value. Now, Epicosity, you know, trying to build back up, but army value wise, MSpookies slightly ahead. Eco wise, MSpookies leagues ahead. And that was incredible. Epicosity, it was just unfortunate where he was on the map. He couldn't rally the Fox, because it would just rally it into the army of MSpookies. So, you know, Epicosity did well at first to get behind MSpookies' army, but then losing the most important key to your army, the Fox. An absolutely devastating engagement. Had a moment to get back into the game, but a little bit of unit mismanagement. It wasn't able to seal the deal. And now MSpookies in a commanding lead in this game. And he's putting down some moles. That army value, it's equivalent. So when the moles drop, it'll be slightly ahead. If I'm MSpookies, I want to wait. But Epicosity again. The lizard's caught out. And MSpookies, he can go in here. Epicosity, nothing but lizards to his name and one can, but that's not enough. And now MSpookies was target firing the pigs, but a little careless on his retreat, lost 2 whole falcons retreating. He did get 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, squirrels on Epicosity's retreat. So about the worth of 1 1/3 falcons. So you need to go home. Don't lose that falcon. That falcon goes down, but you also managed to take down the cam. So fairly equivalent trades going on here. And okay, not the best showing by either player, but Epicosity finally putting down the some defenses. And I say not the best showing, but really it's just a really back and forth grind, and you know, constant engage. Going for these tiny margins, very difficult, you know, to perform accurately. So, this is a hype game. I was not expecting, you know, that these players were going to bring this kind of heat this evening. But oh my, MSpookies, you know, the world's his oyster on this map today, because he could do anything. Usually could go for a boar, could develop into more tier 2, go for an eco greed. Epicosity can do nothing. And those lizards caught out brutally. And now kind of the layering of MSpookies' army, the falcons being able to stand on the same tires as squirrels. So there's just compounded DPS available to them on the front lines. And so Epicosity, take a look at army graph. Yeah, totally lost that value to the burst fire of MSpookies' army. MSpooky, now ordinarily this would be so dangerous, but Epicosity wasn't at home to defend this, and he managed to take out all of these farms for the cost of his entire army. But I think he can reinforce into. Why did you sell? He sold. He doesn't have any army, and Epicosity can just come in through, and MSpookies, he has nothing. My God, MSpookies too greedy to go for Epicosity's eco, completely ignored the army, and it was just able to stampede straight through MSpookies, all of his mills. You know, call Epicosity Aaron Yeager, because he's just marching through everything in his sight. MSpookies, I think it's fair to say, out of units, out of options. Throws in the surrender. And Epicosity taking that win in that match. Incredible. Absolutely incredible game 1 by both players. My oh my. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't game 1. That was game 2. Meaning that is the end of our match. Epicosity taking a clean 2-0 versus MSpookies. Winterload winning a nail-biting match. match 2-1 versus Droopy Mantis and Arilou, showing why he's one of the top dogs in this tournament. In a, absolute annihilation of Spacenut. But Spacenut, don't hang your head low. Arilou, absolutely brutal when it comes to punishing, even 40 food mistakes. Keep your head up. Improve your endgame. Come back stronger than ever. That's all, folks. See you in the next one.